Maxwell has charge of what should be a cracking game in the Academy Championship, and as ever, to watch it alongside me, the Whitehaven coach, Paul Cullen. What do you reckon to this one?
Well, I believe both sides unbeaten. We should be in for a cracking game. There's always a great amount of rivalry between these two clubs. And just a look-see, Bill, there's a lot of fit young men, dying to get into this match.
Well, it's Bradford in possession in their change blue strip. They've had a good start to the season, so have their opponents. A lot at stake here. Hull probably with the more impressive start, simply because they've beaten the Academy champions Leeds already this year, albeit 15-14. But this Bradford side, strong, just like the senior side. They go for big guys. It was Ben Ellis, the man tackled, the young Kiwi. And then the kick from Ben Weston. And full-back Jordan Precious is there.
One thing that always impresses me, Bill, when I'm watching the academy is the quality of the preparation. Both sides were out well before, at least half an hour before kick-off. And just check the defensive structure, certainly from Hull in the first place. Fast feet on the line, all pointing, all nominating, and you can just see the work that's been done behind the scenes to get these sides into shape.
Well, the first penalty of the game goes Steve Crooks' team's way, the Hull Academy coach watching there. Hull will be looking to make it 3 out of 3 this year. It's with Craig Cook and now Dean O'Loughlin, Cottingham Tigers product. Very progressive local side, Cottingham Tigers. Sean Cook puts the kick in, finds touch.
Nice little piece of play from Sean Cook, just put Bradford on the back foot, didn't want to soak up too much pressure, and just watch the Bulls in defence. A minimum of 2 and mostly 3 players in every tackle, just trying to stop movement and turn the Hull players onto the backs. Wouldn't you bring the physio to the player and not the player to the physio?
Bradford's head and feet at this scrum on their own 10-metre line. Pick up from Jamie Langley. Now here's Vinnie Myler, seasoned campaigner in the Academy Championship Myler. Not so Bernard Dwyer, a seasoned campaigner in the first grade, but very much a rookie in the Academy Championship. This his first coaching job, and his side have won the penalty.
Much is spoken at the Bulls, Bill, of the infrastructure and the shape that the Bradford team play, and you can see that going through all 3 squads, from senior to 21s and down through the academy. They keep it very much in-house.
Well, I remember Matthew Elliott always used to refer to it as the organisation, which I thought was always significant. They view it as a complete structure.
And you'll see the same moves that's possibly a little bit high from the Hull number 12 there, Gary Noble, but the referee allowed that one.
A slip there from Danny Ramsden, and the ball's still loose, and eventually Grant Maxwell will find his whistle and call the first knock-on, which was by the Bradford player.
Yes, they're looking for a 3-man shift, and the quality of the ball going across the field just wavered on that point, didn't hit the hands and actually went behind the Bulls player.
Well, in fact, yeah, and the knock-on was then committed by the Hull player, so Bradford get head and feet at the scrum on their own 40-metre line. Very much a stop-start affair so far. Hope the game sort of kicks into some shape Here's Ben Ellis. Comes from Taupo in the North Island of New Zealand. Currently on a sports scholarship at Giggleswick School in North Yorkshire. Ooh, that's a big hit on Adam Sullivan. He's done well. I thought he'd done well to offload that, but it's been snaffled by Sean Cook.
Well, it was a massive hit, and he tried to pop the ball out the back door under pressure, didn't have good balance, and Hull FC have the ball and have the field position.
Well, Sullivan withstood the tackle that then gave the ball away, and it's now in possession of Paul Smith, of Matty Maguire, I beg your pardon. So it's Hull with first real chance of the game, and Dino Loughlin almost finding space there, hint of a forward pass maybe. Still with Hull. Now here's Cook. Cook trying to find Kirk Yeoman, but again the pass doesn't stick. The referee's playing on, the players are standing watching.
Well, someone at some point, Bill, just needs to take a little bit of a grip on the game. There's been 2 or 3 decisions where the ball has just been allowed to bobble and been bounced between both sets of players, and it just hasn't started this match as yet.
There's Bradford in possession again. Well, the season's still young as far as the Academy Championship goes, and new recruits maybe still taking a bit of time to get to know each other's playing styles. Although both these sides have a strong contingent from last season in their ranks, and it's a good break from Mick Lyons, steaming onto that pass from Sullivan. It's on the last, the kick from Ben Weston, and it's a good kick, and forced back there was Danny Lakeman. It's a good chase as well from Nicky Johnson. Johnson very quick.
That was a great passage of play from the ball. Beautiful little ball on the inside from Ben Weston that sets up the big long kick. And what a great chase from the Bradford Bulls three-quarter line. Super 30-40 metre kick, and tackling Hull in their own 10 and 20 metre mark.
So Hull with a bit of work to do now to get out of the red zone. Go down the short side. Cook fires the long ball out, looking for Zach Nasser. First touch for this very promising young winger. Hat-trick already this season for Zach Naz. It's another good kick, and Lyons is back there. And Andy Smith runs into a black and white wall, returning that ball for Bradford.
Well, there's a visible difference, Bill, between the Bulls kick chase and the Hull kick chase. When Bradford kicked, they caught the guy within 2 or 3 steps, and the Bradford three-quarters had at least 15 to 20 metres to return the ball.
Paul Smith tackled just inside his own half for Bradford. Now it's with Danny Ramsden. Ramsden picked in place of the injured Richard Colley, a late change for the Bradford Bulls side. Colley had a groin injury. Jordan Precious.
Decent pressure then on the Bradford kicker from the Hull half-back, Craig Cook. Didn't get the best of kicks away due to the movement from marker.
3 in to tackle Zach Nass. His reputation is spreading. Kirk Yeoman, another very promising player in Hull's colours. Matty Maguire. Good strong run from the big Hull prop. Craig Cook puts the kick in. That's going to be too strong. Mick Lyons just watches that one run dead.
Well, just a poor kick execution then from Hull FC, but the ball was in play for, I think, 3 back-to-back sets, and you can just feel the pace and intensity of this game as the referee allows the game to flow and the ball's kept in play.
It's Ben Ellis with the first run for Bradford on this set of 6. Good work from Nicky Johnson, and they can't afford to give Johnson too much room. I reckon that he's probably the fastest player of any grade at the Bradford Bulls club.
Well, if you consider the likes of Leon Price in the Bradford first team, that's a big call.
And there he is. That's Nicky Johnson trying to get away. Precious just got a hand to him, and then the follow-up tackle by Sean Hill, but Bradford still pressing for it Myler it is, but he's driven back a couple of metres. It was Aaron Smith, I beg your pardon, and Aaron Smith has knocked on. Golden opportunity for Bradford there. Well,
if there's a knock,
Grant Maxwell spotted a knock on there.
Well, he's a lot closer than we are, Bill, but he must have an awful lot better eyesight if he saw a little knock on at that play of the ball. Must have been for something previous.
Well,
no, there's no way on earth that there was a knock on at that play of the ball.
Unless it was, as you say, a few seconds before that. Oh, and that ball's been stolen. There was two in the tackle. Definite hand in there.
I think also the tackle was completed. The man's ball carrying arm had touched the ground, so young Langley just pulling the ball out. Yes, as soon as the ball carrying arm hits the floor, the tackle's complete.
So no score yet, and both these sides testing each other out, really. They look pretty evenly matched. Higgins with the drive, 17-year-old from the Doncaster area, Liam Higgins. And there's Matty Maguire, the other prop.
Consistently for Bradford, though, you've got the two guys in every tackle. There are very, very few one-on-ones. They're getting at least two men, and more importantly, three into every shot.
Sean Cook's short ball. And 4 tackles gone. Firing the ball out, looking for Zach Nass, but he wasn't going to be able to take that. Right down by his toes.
Well, the ball's compression just looked a fraction vulnerable then. You know, he just needed the ball to be, you know, half a yard backwards and just delayed slightly. They are playing a compressed defensive line, and it does take some running through. You know, you're probably better suited to working on the kick game and trying to get round. Bernard Dwyer, of course, had plotted that defence structure, and it's the same one that's used throughout the club. We've mentioned it before.
Bradford trying to put the attacking side of their game together here, and will make ground with the aid of that penalty.
You just get the feel at the moment, Bill, that the whole defence is a little more fragile than the Bulls. The Bulls seem to be very, very competent in their defensive structure, numbers in the tackles, and they have the ability, when they have the ball in their hands, just to half bust that whole line.
Vinnie Myler trying to bust a big hole in it there. It's good defence that time from the Hull players. Sullivan, the run around here, a little bit static, and Ben Weston really didn't get enough room to get up ahead of speed there. Hull off the line very quickly. Jamie Langley.
Well, it's a nice little hit and spin from Jamie Langley. Doesn't soak up the initial impact, just moves off one foot and spins out, just to make sure the ball's available if needed.
Sullivan, that's the 5th tackle. The kick from Ben Weston. Oh, it's high on the follow-up, and Vinnie Myler just stuck out an arm there.
Well, it was a lazy arm. There was no great intent in that whatsoever. Just you know, a poor tackle shape from young Myler. Needs to just stay behind his feet and work the shoulders and keep the arms down a little bit.
Unfortunately, Andy Smith was up on his feet rapidly. Penalty goes Hull's way.
Didn't we see one Paul Newlove off the field on Friday night at Wilderspool with a very, very similar incident?
It's a very fine line. That's the knock on there. Higgins trying to offload, looking for Jordan Precious, who was on his shoulder. If it had come off, it would have been a lovely little pass, that. But
well, it's one of the hard things to work an offload in traffic when you're playing against a compressed defence, because there's always a body, always an arm. Someone's hanging on to the offloader at some point. I think Hull, to work against this defensive structure from the Bulls, just need to complete and kick and just try and get a little bit of fatigue and keep turning them around. They're a big set.
Well, that was scrappy from the Bulls there, and Ben Weston managed to retrieve the situation, but that's pretty ferocious tackling from Craig Cook there. Another Cook in this side, but they're no relation to each other, although just to confuse matters, one of them is related to another Hull player, and one's got an E on the end of his surname and the other one hasn't. Confused? You will be. Here's Adam Sullivan for the Bradford Bulls, and Sullivan's lost that ball.
Now the ball's just coming up with one or two errors, and to be honest, spoiling the work of Jamie Langley. You know, he's got quite an arsenal, the lad. He can hit and spin, he can impact and offload. He's got a lovely little inside ball as well. So I think the ball's, well, Bernard wouldn't be at the moment, would he? He's you know, he's just seeing his side putting the ball down, and that's, I think, the last 2 or 3 attacking sets where the Bulls have come up with an unforced error.
Not a happy coach, mind you. I think his opposite number, Steve Crooks, will probably be similarly unimpressed so far. Neither side really putting it together yet. Zach Nass, one of several players out in the field at the moment, as Steve Crooks looks on, who are involved in the Great Britain Academy training program, which Mike Gregory and his staff is running, with an eye on that trip to Australia later this summer. And places at stake still. The final 22 to be decided. Sean Hill, that's the 5th tackle.
And Hull just beginning to find little gaps in the Bulls' defensive line. They're getting through and going knees and elbows and just getting a lovely little kick through.
Oh, that was good work from Sean Cook, but just ran out of steam at the end, and Mick Lyon stood his ground.
Well, you could feel the difference, Bill, from those early sets from Hull. There was absolutely no way through that Bulls defensive line, and just in the last set they're beginning to find a small hole, half a gap, just to get through and get a quick play of the ball in.
Bulls on the charge. Bit of a point to prove here against this Hull side, because it was Hull that ultimately cost Bradford a place in the Academy top 5 last season, and they missed out on the playoffs by a whisker because Hull beat them. And it's Bradford on the attack now with Jamie Langley. Langley back in field to Ben Ellis. Ellis gets it away to Lewis Evans. It's back with Ellis now, and scrambling defence from Hull.
Well, Hull did well to shut that down. Another great play from Langley. The guy's got great hands. He's picking the ball up from inside the ruck and going across the back, and he's set up a great field position.
Johnson has got the pace and eventually finds a way through this Hull defence. The long ball out wide from Ben Weston, and Nicky Johnson showed that he has got the speed, although there wasn't a lot in his way that time. And slightly more pleased Bradford coach. His side have taken the lead. Nicky Johnson, the try scorer.
Well, I think Nicky Johnson did very, very well indeed to score that try. Put it down to this man, Jamie Langley. Lovely little show and go. Puts the ball back in the inside, and Bradford just finding the whole defence in complete scramble. Just look at the bodies, the Hull FC bodies that had to come across to cover that break. It's a +3 shift, the body's moving right across the field, and the number 4, Nicky Johnson, he's big enough and he's fast enough, and good vision to stay alive and bring the ball back a little bit closer for the kicker. It's a great score from the Bulls.
Johnson improving the final position, giving Ben Weston maybe a better chance to land this conversion. Weston's already kicked 5 goals this season. This to put Bradford into a 6-0 lead. He's given that every chance. Weston adds the extras. Nicky Johnson gets his first try of the season. Bernard Dwyer's side lead by 6 points to 0.
That's good work all round. A great play from Langley to set up the initial break. Nicky Johnson doing very well to score the try, even better to come inside, and Ben Weston with a great strike to take that 6-point lead. If Hull FC are to get back into this game and control that offence from the Bulls, they're going to have to put bodies on Jamie Langley.
Also first blood to the Bulls in this battle of the unbeaten sides in the Academy Championship. Well, two of them anyway. Vinnie Myler. Oh, that's a big tackle from Kurt Yeaman on Ben Ellis. Certainly hear the impact of that. Jason Bolts. Now here is the aforementioned Jamie Langley, son of the former Leeds and Dewsbury player John Langley. Adam Sullivan, keen to have a big game here. Sullivan comes from just up the road at Beverley. On the last, Ben Weston with the kick. Jordan Precious scurrying across to gather that scurrying ball.
Well, that was a great set from the Bulls. Every time they carried the ball, they beat the first tackler. They found knees and elbows. The play the balls were quick and sharp. Angles on the runs and a great kick. And just what about the chase? You can see the difference between the Bulls kick and chase, and that's off Hull FC.
Well, Hull with a bit of a record to preserve here. Not only have they won the first two games of this Academy season, they won the last two of last season. So they won 4 in a row.
Well, they're a little rattled at the moment. I think it's down to that great kick and chase from the Bulls and also that defensive structure. They're moving, they're nominated, and they're putting the Hull players under a lot of pressure. Even a good kick chase on the Hull player who kicked the ball.
Andy Smith collects and runs across the field, eventually into Kurt Yeaman and Zach Nass.
Now just check the yardage of the Bulls three-quarters when they bring the ball back. They're getting a 15-20 metre run up. Oppositely, when they kick to Hull, the guy who picks the ball up is tackled within 2 or 3 metres. The momentum is all with the Bulls.
Here's Mick Lyons. Mike Gregory nearest to the camera, just looking on, hidden behind that stanchion and watching several of the players who are in his plans for this summer in action. Weston hoists the kick across the field. Tricky one for Zach Nass. He's taken that well. That will have impressed the Great Britain Academy coach, Mike Gregory.
Well, it was a comfortable take, wasn't it? Never took his eyes off the ball, 2 hands up, and you know, secured his footing when he came back down to ground.
Hull really haven't been able to trouble the Bulls' 20-metre area, have they? Haven't been had a scent of it for 5 or 6 minutes now.
Right, finding it very, very difficult to break that Bulls defence. Again, they got 2 or 3 bodies in there. You know, any chance of an offload? Well, they found a break on that right-hand side.
Sean Hill with the run, gets the ball away to Gary Peacham. Peacham back on the inside. Great ball, great try for Danny Lakeman. Lakeman will go round behind the posts. And just as we were saying, they hadn't managed to trouble the Bradford defence. Danny Lakeman finishes off a delicious try. And Grant Maxwell, just to tease us a little bit longer, has not awarded it yet. He's going to consult the touch judge, see if there was a chance of a forward pass there, but didn't appear to be, and that'll be a perfectly good try for Hull FC. And they've come back with the try from Danny Lakeman.
Well, I thought it was a great piece of play, Bill. Just as we were speaking about that, the Bulls' defence in the middle of the field, Hull move it a little bit wide. They found a gap on the opposite side, you know, and it's possibly the star of the Bradford outfit, Jamie Langley. He just held back. He offered a gap on the inside, and what a great play. Danny Lakeman just stayed alive, staying on the inside, and scoring under the sticks to almost guarantee that the game is now going to be level at 6-all.
Jordan Precious adds the extras. Scores are indeed level. Hull FC 6, Bradford Bulls 6.
Well, for once, just check the Bradford line. There are holes. I think it was Langley who was offside. The referee must have called him to stay out of the play. And that's a great play under pressure. Manning tackle, one arm on the ball, and the ball just popped back on the inside. You know, it's good to see that Hull can come back, because at one point they were looking a little bit rocky coming out their own 20.
so this Bulls defence isn't impregnable. Hull have just demonstrated that. 6 points apiece. And Hull with their tails up after that scintillating try. Here's Zach Nass now.
Well, that's 2 clear breaks, Bill, in 2 sets, and they've both come out wide, so that's the obvious position that Hull need to concentrate on. A little bit of go forward on play 1 and 2, and then be prepared to move the ball with a little bit of quality out wide.
It's good go forward from Tom Cowan there, a Great Britain schools player. Then the kick from Craig Cook. Andy Smith.
And you can now feel the momentum just swinging with Hull FC. Just note the distance made by the Bulls on the kit return, 2 or 3 steps, quite similar to the way that they were treating Hull in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game.
Paul Smith, tackled by Tom Cowan. Here's Vinnie Myler.
Taking 3, possibly 4 Hull players to bring big Vinnie Myler down.
Oh, Weston, lovely little show of the ball, and then he went, and he's going at this Hull defence that Jordan Precious stands his ground. That's the 5th tackle.
That was a fantastic break and an even better tackle.
Little kick from Mick Lyons, but it just ricocheted off a Hull player, and that took some of the pace out of it. Hull down to 12 at the moment. I think Sean Hill is down.
Well, from the Bulls' point of view on the break, the thing that a half-back wants is somebody to come screaming out the line to try and put on a big shot. Great vision from the little half-back from Bradford in Ben Weston. Just a little bit of a show and go. He knew that there was a hole there. Well, there's that little break. Just a hole appeared for him. You know, great vision to step inside and just watch this one-on-one. The Hull fullback Jordan Precious never took his eyes off the ball carrier, didn't pick up any runners and stopped him one-on-one. That was a great try-saving tackle. I think the 13th the guy that came up the line, isn't it?
Hull in possession. That's a good short ball from Matty Maguire. It's Maguire again. Craig Cook. And then it was Gary Noble. It was, I beg your pardon, Sean Wildbore. The kick fielded by Andy Smith for the Bulls. Tackled by Steve Musgrave. Bradford just inside their own half and losing ground. Jason Bolts now, and that's a big tackle from Tom Cowan.
I thought it was a fantastic tackle. The Bradford Bulls playing the ball very, very close to the advantage line, and I think the previous pass, you know, was questionable, Bill.
Cowan not only bringing him down, but managing to turn him on his back as well. Sullivan takes a bit more to stop Adam Sullivan. It's the 5th tackle. Here is Weston. What will he come up with this time? It's another teasing kick. And Jordan Precious just allows that one to run into touch.
And did very well in doing so, because if he tries to bring that ball back in, just check that Bradford kick chase once more. If he picks the ball up, there's nowhere for him to go. So did very well. Just they're going to scrum down 20 metres in on that 10-metre mark. Head and feed to Hull FC.
Hull's head and feet at the scrum. on their own 10-metre line. Sides level at 6 points apiece. Musgrave and Liam Higgins. Musgrave now, and here's Sean Cook and Tom Cowan, and Cowan audaciously slips that ball out. And then Kurt Yeaman gets it to Zach Nass, keeping that ball alive for a while there. Cook to Cook, and now Dean O'Loughlin. That's the 5th tackle on the Bradford 40-metre line. Craig Cook hoists a big kick. Underneath it is Mick Lyons.
Good to see the difference in the approach work from both sides, and you know the game's finely balanced, Bill, and it's going to take something like a penalty like that just to tip the balance. But you know the whole players, the number 16 Tom Cowan and also the prop forward Matty Maguire, both seem to be very adept at offloading with the right hand in the tackle, and every time they go into impact they seem to get the ball away.
The referee waves play on as Aaron Smith looked, I think, for a penalty. 3-2 in Bradford's favour, the penalty count at the moment. Well, everything points to this being another close game. They were last season. Hull did the double over Bradford, but they were still very tight games. 20 points to 10 and 16-14 were the final scores.
Well, there were some great skills on show then. You know, a one-handed offload, a little one-handed flip pass, and the Bradford Bulls just in a good enough shape to keep the ball moving on the left-hand side.
It's with the Bulls now, with Paul Hustler, once of the Castleford Tigers Academy side. Weston again hoists the kick, and that was cool from Danny Lakeman.
Well, I think the messages are going out from Steve Crooks to the whole 3 quarters on that right-hand side, that if the ball is going to go anywhere near that touch line or the dead in goal, just to be nice and sharp and alert, let the ball go, get a chance to have a breather, and you can restart from the scrum.
Steve Crooks will have sent those instructions down, no doubt. Half-time approaching, the sides level. Can somebody find a way through just to break the deadlock? Hull still inside their own 20. The run from Matty Maguire. Now here's Tom Cowan. Ben Ellis doing the tackling, but Cowan somehow managed to get that ball away. Now Zach Nass just losing his footing as Lewis Evans came across to make the tackle.
Well, didn't he do well then, Bill, just to keep in the field of play. Great movement from Zach Nass, but what a tremendous ball from Tom Cowan.
Craig Cook puts the kick in, forcing Andy Smith to retreat. Smith looking for a way through, but Cook had led the chase. That's Craig Cook, and it was Craig Cook who kicked.
He's been very influential. I mean, young Cook has been a big part of this whole go forward.
Crucial contribution from Craig Cook then. This could catch on.
It's all the seas.
Bradford in possession just inside their own 40. Weston. Sullivan was the dummy runner. Oh, then the wild pass flipped out from Mike Lyons, and Bradford lose ground. Back on their own 30-metre line now. Johnson flattened by Dean O'Loughlin, thrown to the ground. Weston looking for a 40-20 maybe, but that's simply going to sit up on that 20-metre line and is fielded by Jordan Precious. Here's Zach Nass.
Again, both sides are meeting each other at the moment, blow for blow, but you just have the feeling that if Hull can pop one of those offloads, and there's two in the tackle, they can just force the pressure and get away on the edge.
Did that go forward? Did that one go forward? One of them did.
Well, per many 1 from 3 in that situation. I thought the referee should have pulled the first one. But you just get the feeling that that Bradford, although seem to be very, very confident in their organisation and structure, that Hull are just prepared to take the impact and offload the ball. It may just be that factor that could provide the break.
Bradford on the halfway line have head and feet at that scrum. And neither side will be wanting to let anything slip before half-time. Hull defending vigorously as Ben Ellis looked for a way through. Young Kiwi. Gavin Jordan just into the fray in place of Jason Bolts, who's gone to the blood bin. Weston to Jamie Langley. Now here's Nicky Johnson. Johnson trying to get round the outside, but no joy for him there.
I think Gary Peacham did very, very well then just to keep on to Nicky Johnson. He seems to be a real handful.
Aaron Smith puts a little grubber kick in, and Jordan Precious coolly deals with that one. And Hull deep in their own half. With Danny Lakeman, the try scorer for Hull, and Lakeman comes away from that hobbling.
Well, what a big half so far that Matty Maguire had. He's not only been involved in that, in the go forward on play 1 and play 2, he's shown that he can offload the ball out wide as well.
Higgins has worked hard as well. There's Sean Wildball. That's the 5th tackle, and Bradford penning Hull deep in their own territory. And then Sean Cook puts the kick in, and it's not a bad one, forcing Mick Lyons deep towards his own try line. And Lyons comes across field and just swats aside Steve Musgrave.
Well,
and Musgrave comes back. He's not getting rid of him that easily.
It was a big right hand. Didn't he do well to get back onto his feet and contribute back to that second effort in the tackle? Adam
Sullivan with the run. And then a scoot from Nicky Johnson.
Well, every time, Bill, that Johnson gets the ball in his hand, he looks as if he's going to make a break, doesn't he?
But you sense that Hull are alert to that as well. They seem to close him down pretty rapidly.
The young centre on that far side, Gary Peacham, has got his eye on him at all occasions.
Offside against Steve Musgrave there. A bit too quick off the mark, Musgrave.
Well, it's noticeable that the whole number 3, Gary Peacham, is being attended to at this moment. I was just going to suggest that the referee might be better stopping the game, because, you know, with Peacham not on his feet, then that Ben Ellis would be a genuine threat on the left-hand side.
Well, that was the incident when Gary Peacham went in for the tackle on Nicky Johnson. Or maybe it wasn't the incident. It was an incident anyway.
I think he's got a poke in the eyes now.
So Bradford maybe with one final opportunity in this first half to trouble the whole defence again. Vinnie Myler takes them a bit closer to the whole line. They're 30 metres out now at the Bradford Bulls Academy side. Ben Weston, now it's with Jamie Langley. Langley finds Ben Ellis, and now it's with Lewis Evans. Evans managing to stay in the field of play. Another Hull player is limping away from the fray. It's Kirk Yeaman. Here's Langley again trying to spin out of trouble. Grant Maxwell urging Hull to release quickly. Aaron Smith gets the ball to Ben Ellis. Ellis to Lewis Evans. Evans and Zach Nasser, his opposite number, having a real battle at the moment. That's on the last now. Weston stabs the kick across field. It's almost a lovely kick for Andy Smith, but just too much on it.
They spent about 3 or 4 plays down the right-hand side channel just to bring enough of the Hull players across the field, and it's a play that's worked well with the Bradford Bulls senior squad, and they just couldn't execute that kick and catch on the far side. And as the clock draws down to the end of the first half, it's been very, very equal, very competitive, but you just get the feeling, Bill, that Hull can pop an offload and go full length.
Well, we said at the outset that this was likely to be a close contest, and it certainly turned out to be that so far, as Hull gets another penalty and they look to take it quickly. The clock running down on them. Their last chance maybe of this first half to get their noses in front. Here's Sean Cook, spindly legged player. Sean Cook, matchstick legs on him, but just like brother Paul, big brother Paul, who's in the Hull FC first team, he's got great vision, great hands.
The first 2 Hull plays, both coming off a half-back to a forward, coming onto the ball. They're just looking to move the big Bradford pack around and just try and stretch a little bit of width into that compressed defence.
Here's Liam Higgins. Higgins charging at this Bradford defence. 10 metres out. Craig Cook stabs the little kick in, and the ball's still not cleared, and mayhem in that Bradford area, and eventually it's touched down by Sean Wildboar, and he's given the try. Well, the little kick from Craig Cook caused absolute confusion in the Bradford defence. The ball ping-ponged all over the place, and Sean Wildboar was there to capitalise.
Well, what a great little kick. I thought that he possibly was just nudged off the ball. It's come back. Oh, there's a kick-off one. It hit somebody else, and Hull just on the spot. I mean, that ball should have been cleared on about 3 occasions, but fortune favours the brave. There's one kick. It's bounced off the post. Another kick comes off the defender. Well, and Hull just on the spot to score right almost on the whistle at half-time. You have to force errors and put pressure on, and the number 15 for the Hull, Sean Wildboar, well, he chased and he didn't give up at all, and just enough to put the ball down and score the try.
Jordan Precious then can seal the first half as far as Hull are concerned with this conversion. He's done that. And Hull leads by 12 points to 6. Not quite over in the first 40 minutes. And a bizarre try, it has to be said.
Well, it could be, Bill, a great psychological boost for Hull FC, because the entire game has been played in the Hull half. You know, they've rarely made inroads into the Bradford quarter, except when they've kicked and chased and put pressure on Bradford down there. But my word, Bradford had all the game and are 6 points behind just at the start of the half.
Still playing in this first half. Grant Maxwell being generous with the added time. Hull in possession with Sean Wildboar. Tom Cowan now. And that ball went forward.
Well, it looked like a good decision from the referee, you know, an inch or two forward, but that's just enough. You know, and it's one thing that Hull didn't need, was to, you know, risk an offload or come up with an error when they had the field position, had the ball.
Bradford now, last chance maybe for them in this first half. They trail by 12 points to 6. It's with Mick Lyons. And the penalty will go to Bradford. Again, Hull in their enthusiasm. Just a bit quick off the mark there.
And the referee wants to stop play, wants to have a chat with the Bradford players. And, well, they've now changed their mind because of the delay in the game, and they're going to take the 2 points on offer.
So Ben Weston, from this penalty attempt, a chance to end the first half with 2 points for the Bulls. He's done just that, and it's the final kick of the first half eventually, and Hull, having trailed 6-0 early on, have come back well. They were on the back foot for a long time in the first half, but they've emerged with a 12-8 lead, courtesy of a pretty bizarre try from Sean Wildboar. Yes, I am indeed. Staying in record, Cardiff, York 3. Oh, Ipswich 2-0 up.
Come on, Grant Maxwell.
Bradford get the second half of this Academy Championship match underway. They trail by 12-8 to this Hull FC side, looking to maintain their 100% record in this season's championship, and just with their noses in front. There's the try scorer, Danny Lakeman, limping away. Took a knock late on in the first half and still seems to be troubled by the injury, Lakeman.
Well, it's taken him an awful long time to get back in his wing position, Bill, and he's played well in the first half as the lad.
So has this guy since he came on, Tom Cowan.
Yeah, appears to be a real handful. He either offloads the ball or he takes 3 guys to put him on the floor.
It's Sean Wildboar, whose try at the end of the first half put Hull in pole position. Not a good kick that time from Hull.
Hull chase seems to be a little bit more organised and a little bit more aggressive.
Andy Smith. Wildboar making the tackle with Dean O'Loughlin. Aaron Smith, now here's Kiwi Ben Ellis, just over the 40-metre line. Smith, Vinnie Myler. Matty Maguire stands his ground as Myler took it up. Sullivan now, real handful, Adam Sullivan. He's lost that ball and he's knocked it on. Sullivan furious with that decision, looks aghast towards the touch judge.
Well, he just seems to lose the ball. It didn't appear to be pulled out. There was an awful lot of bodies in there. He's trying to pop it out the back door and he's just lost the possession. But he appears to come, Adam Sullivan, just off the big drive from Vinnie Myler. And all the way through this game, Vinnie Marler has found half a hole, a little bit of a break. He just gets knees and elbows, and he gets a quick play the ball in, and Bradford move very quickly from the ruck on the back of it.
Hull in possession, and strong defence from Bradford there, closing down Mick Sutton. Here's Maguire again, seen plenty of the ball, Matty Maguire, so is Liam Higgins. And Sean Cook. Here's Tom Cowan. Cowan again doing the offload well, and Sean Cook was on his shoulder, makes good yards. Musgrave, Craig Cook. That's the 5th tackle. Musgrave. Eventually the ball finding its way back to Craig Cook, and that's an interesting kick, but it's offside against Dean O'Loughlin.
Well, the little Hull half-back, Craig Cook, will be furious, because he would have picked that ball up. He was just going to come right back in his hands, and his own player.
Look at him, he's absolutely outraged.
And he has a right to be. He was 5 yards offside and just didn't read the play whatsoever.
So Bradford have the penalty, and it could have been a lot worse for them. Myler runs over the top of Tom Cowan that time.
Doesn't he so? Always, every time he comes into impact, he never gets turned on his back. He hits and goes through and plays the ball quickly and cleanly.
Paul Hustler struggling to get to his feet. Strong pass from Aaron Smith. Now here's Jamie Langley. And offside against Hull that time.
Well, it's been a little bit quieter as Langley in the latter stages of the first half. You know, he's a player with great skill. We've seen that in the opening stages, and the more ball in his hands, the more threats the Bulls are going to produce.
Penalty goes Bradford's way. Ben Weston hammers it to touch, and quickly back in the hands of Vinnie Myler.
Always lands over the top of the first defender, knees and elbows, and again another quick play the ball.
Aaron Smith, good run from the Bradford hooker. Here is Langley, back on the inside for Lewis Evans. Evans eventually brought down by Sean Wildboar, but good position here for the Bradford Bulls, and it's with Langley, and Langley is over. Langley gets the try, no question about that one, and strength from Jamie Langley on the back of a very impressive role from the Bradford Bulls there.
Well, it was an almost perfect execution. You know, Langley played a big part in that, you know, and just big enough and strong enough and smart enough to read the play. Goes right over the top of the little halfback, just keeps that left arm free and secures a great try. But that came right from the tap set, right from the other side. It's a very, very good play the ball from Vinnie Myler, fast and clean, and Bradford just moved up 2 or 3 gears as soon as Vinnie Myler played the ball. So that was a well executed set and a great try.
Jamie Langley's 4th try of the season means the scores are level at 12 points apiece. Ben Weston with a difficult conversion to put the balls back in front. He's given that every chance. Great kick from Ben Weston. And Bradford Bulls regain the lead. It's Hull 12, Bradford 14. Well, Bradford have dominated really the second half so far. They've scored the try. Hull again haven't really had the possession, have they?
No, it's quite similar to the first half, Bill, that Bradford have totally dominated. Let's see if Hull can do it once more. They did it very well in the first half to soak up the pressure. They gave away some points and came back and finished very strongly indeed.
But at the moment it's Hull having to defend again against this strong Bradford Academy side. Paul Hustler is tackled, that's the 5th. Weston will put the kick in, high towards Zach Nasser's wing. Jordan Precious back there.
There's that great Bradford chase once more, very evident in the first half, and the ebb and flow of the game has now gone back in favour of the Bulls.
Here's Matty Maguire once more.
Yes, he's never taken a backward step all game, Bill, has he? He's a tremendous work ethic.
Really eager player. He was geeing his teammates up right before the kick-off. As a good break from Craig Cook, and Ben Ellis is back there to make the tackle, and then Ellis wants a second bite, and he blotted his copybook there, Ben Ellis, because the first effort was good, stopping Craig Cook in his tracks, and then he just wanted a second bite and conceded the penalty.
Well, he even tried to take the ball one-on-one in the first incident, but what a great little play from Craig Cook. We've spoken about the effort of Matty Maguire, but Cook's pushed him all the way so far.
Musgrave, little darting run from the Hull hooker. Here's Sean Cook, just trying to pop that ball up for Ben Kirsup. Kirsup couldn't take the pass.
Well, there was no hole, certainly not next to Adam Sullivan anyway, and he just was quite happy to take the shot and pick the ball up.
And the way this game's gone, Hull can't afford to really concede possession. But it's Bradford doing it now, and Hustler couldn't take that pass.
Well, that's probably the worst mistake the Bulls have made so far in this game. It was it was a nothing play, just a straightforward carry, and the ball was spilled very, very easily. Could have a big psychological boost for Hull FC.
If they can make use of the possession they've got now. Sean Cook trying to put the step on Danny Ramsden. Ramsden read the situation well. Here's Matty Maguire once again. Musgrave, Sean Cook now. Craig Cook, almost through a little gap there. It was Langley with the tackle, aided by Mick Lyons. Sean Cook now, Tom Cowan. Langley once more, leading the defensive effort for the Bradford Bulls. Kirsup held on to that, but Bradford held on to him. It's on the last now. Sean Cook, there was crossing there.
Well, there's a part of the Hull play, especially the little short ball off Sean Cook. They've erred on almost every occasion they've gone to the line with that little short unders play. It's either they've sent the runner straight into defence or they've crossed on the back of it. You know, they're doing most of the things right, Hull. It's just the little things right at the back end of the play. But once more, Bradford have coughed up possession very, very cheaply indeed. You know, and are now giving the ball away on the 20-metre mark. And well, let's just see if Hull can regain a little bit of composure. They need to move the ball wide and just move off that short pass game off the standoff.
Great position this for Hull. Head and feed at the scrum on the Bradford 20-metre line. Sean Cook pops the ball up for Kirk Yeaman. Yeaman scored 2 tries in the 15-14 win over Leeds that got Hull's academy season off to such a great start. Looking to continue it, but at the moment they're trailing, albeit by just 2 points to Bradford Bulls. Here's Tom Cowan.
Well, there's a threat of the offload. He looks every time to move the ball, Bill, doesn't he, the number 16?
Musgrave. Here's Craig Cook now. Sean Cook clung on to that one so effortlessly.
We'll get there.
And here's Craig Cook now, fires the ball out. Yeaman with the try. Kurt Yeaman with the try for Hull. Wonderfully well worked try from Hull there. Great hands, quick passing, and Kurt Yeaman, on the back of those 2 tries against Leeds, gets one now against the Bradford Bulls.
You know, it also shows the strength of character of the Hull players. You know, they are consistently coming from behind to get a grip back into this game. And that little half-back, well, he's had a big influence in the match. And the number 4, that's Kurt Yeaman. He just hits the hole, hits it very well indeed. And that was a great, great try. Was that Sean Cook or Craig Cook who passed the ball then? Craig.
Jordan Precious has 2 from 2 so far. If he can maintain, oh, unlucky. Can't maintain his record. But the lead swaps hands again. Hull back in front. They lead by 16 points to 14. This game certainly living up to expectations. Swinging backwards and forwards. Bradford dominating it physically, but Hull, just like terriers, won't let go, will they?
They certainly won't give up. What a great shot from Danny Ramsden. It's not the first he's put into this game. You know, he's got good technique in his defence. He keeps his feet on the floor and he hits with the shoulders. You know, for a half-back, he hits very well indeed.
There's Ben Cursor on the charge. The 18-year-old from Doncaster. He's probably the biggest member of this Hull side, and that's good hands from Maguire, from Tom Cowan, and now a good run from Sean Cook.
Well, what a fantastic movement down the left-hand side. You know, Matty Maguire and also Tom Cowan, 2 big men, and have got great offloads, and they've worked very, very hard in the game today. And it's not just effort, they've got skill in there as well, Bill.
Well, Bradford concede the penalty. Langley, the culprit. And now Hull on a roll. It really is mirroring the first half, with Bradford dominating and Hull then coming back and enjoying a little bit of a purple patch, which they're doing now.
Maguire again carries the ball on the first tackle. He just looks for work all the time.
Cook, he had a dummy runner from Ben Cursor and went on his own. Cook, they're just a couple of metres away from that line. Now Craig Cook. Cook showed it once, almost got through, but Langley just managed to cling onto him. Musgrave now fires the ball out wide. Kurt Yeaman, he's just short of the line. Desperate defence, the ball's come loose, and it's been knocked forward.
Well, how many bodies in the tackle? Was the 1 or was the 2? The big number 3's in there. Well, no, that's the ball just come loose as he seems to spin away. But you know, great play. You know, what I like to see it certainly from the Hull forwards is their ability to offload the ball under pressure.
Bradford with Ben Ellis now. Thumping tackle on Ellis by Kurt Yeaman. Bradford just a bit flat-footed at the moment.
Yes, they don't look as fluent coming out of this scrum, Bill, as they have done on other parts of the game.
Aaron Smith with the run. Smith looks a bit upset about something that happened in the tackle there. Vinnie Myler continues it and then gets the penalty. The flop
Well, he's always good for it, Vinny Myler, because what he does, he just busts the line every time he carries the ball. You know, do we ever see him knocked and turn around and put on his back? And what that forces is infringements and penalties from the opposition as they try and slow down the play of the ball.
Gary Peacham, the culprit that time, and it's cost Hull some territory. They're on their own 30 line now.
Yes, and Myler through the line once more.
Coming down the short side now, and Mick Lyons trying to make inroads into that whole defence. It was Ben Cursett with the tackle, but now they're spreading it out wide. Ramsden almost finding a way through. Sean Wildball with the tackle. Again, they come down the short side now, back to Jamie Langley. Langley has one try already. He's looking for a second. They're going to have to work hard. He's managed to get that ball away, and it's been snaffled well by Steve Musgrave.
Well, he took a big chance, did Langley. He had found good field position. It wasn't on the last play. There was another play to go yet. Possibly didn't need that offload, and it just takes the pressure off Hull. And a chance for them to come away, and well, that guy's going to offload. He does it again. Every time he carries the ball, he looks a threat.
Tom Cowan is outstanding.
He's had a great game, and here comes a man that's pushed him all the way, the big number 10.
That's Matty Maguire. There is Tom Cowan, an East Hull lad.
Well, there again, the right hand, it's been in evident all the way through the game. Even when there are 2 or 3 bodies on, he still looks. And then here comes Maguire, you know, and the Bradford players just trying to slow the play of the ball and ball down. There's a hand in there.
So the penalty goes Hull's way. Here's Maguire once more.
Well, the Hull stats will be interesting reading. Goodness me.
That won't be.
No, not at all, and I'm sure Maguire won't be happy because he carried the ball again on that previous play.
Musgrave just dropping that one short of Sean Cook. Well, one-on-one there, and Craig Cook, we mentioned terriers, well, he was really terrier-like there and forcing Bradford to retreat.
Well, Hull nearly actually took that scrum against the head and feed.
Yeah.
And the ball bounced across a couple of legs. And, well, the ball has gone backwards, so it's a fair call from the referee, and the ball's once more in possession.
Adam Sullivan, Bradford just inside their own half. Aaron Smith and Grant Maxwell has stopped play and called over Craig Cook for a word. Well, there's the touch judges in the action as well.
Well, Grant Maxwell in heated debate. Once he's made a decision, it should be nice and clear and clinical, and let's get on with play. There's just a little bit of afters after the play of the ball, but no, I'm sure it didn't warrant this length of time of conversation. Well, there's nothing overly involved in that movement. Little bit of a push and a shove.
The penalty goes Bradford's way. Looking to reassert their authority now, the Bulls. Hull have had the better of play just in the last few minutes, but it's Bradford in possession now.
One thing that Bradford have done very well all day is movement from that tap set. They turn the ball on and offload, it's back on the inside. That's only the second play, and they're about 5 or 6 metres off the Hull try line.
Great chance here for the Bradford Bulls, but Aaron Smith just lost his footing at the crucial moment. Weston, Ramsden, here is Langley again. Langley threatening once more. He's managed to offload that as well, and Andy Smith couldn't take it.
Well,
difficult ball for the winger to reel in there.
Well, almost impossible. Langley, has the ability to be a great player. What he just needs to do at the moment is just suss out the tackle count. He's offloading the ball with at least 2 or 3 players left in the back end of the set. He couldn't guarantee the offload. There were too many hands. It wasn't a good position. And again, he just lets Hull off the hook when they were in trouble on their own line.
In possession, just outside their own 10-metre line. Liam Higgins back on the field, back in the action, takes them up the 20.
Well, here comes Cowan. What's he going to come up with?
Straight up the middle from Tom Cowan that time. Now here's Craig Cook. Craig Cook once more, and that ball's come loose. There's 2 in the tackle. It was Sean Wildboar who was tackled.
Again, another big hit from Danny Ramsden, and to be honest, I think he was quite unfortunate. He'd done a one-on-one shot. He was all his impact, and to be fair, I think unfairly treated by the referee. The other Bradford player hadn't made contact by the time he'd pulled the ball out.
So Higgins, Hull now, their turn to enjoy a bit of possession. Cowan again gets the ball away. It's with Cook, Sean Cook this is, and Cook gets the try, and once more a great offload from Tom Cowan. This time there was somebody in support and there was nobody able to stop Sean Cook, who increases Hull's lead.
Well, I think the Bulls could feel aggrieved by the penalty in the first place, but that should not detract from what was a superb piece of skill from Hull's number 16, Tom Cowan. That right-hand offload, he's big enough and strong enough and smart enough to read the play, pops the ball on the inside. Well, that was a lovely try from Sean Cook just to keep himself alive back on the inside. But every time he carries the ball at the line, you know full well there's a chance of an offload.
Jordan Precious hit the woodwork with his last conversion attempt, but no worries this time. He's digged that one right through the middle, and Hull lead now by 22 points to 14. Well, nobody, it can be said has taken a grip on this game yet. The lead swinging backwards and forwards, but Hull have their biggest advantage so far in the match. 8 points clear. You wouldn't bet against Bradford coming back again.
No, you certainly wouldn't, but I can say, quite confidently with the Bradford Bulls that they have almost given Hull the advantage in the game. They have erred on about 4 or 5 occasions. They've simply given the ball away, whether it be knock-ons deep in their own quarter when they're carrying the ball out, or attempted offloads on the Hull try line, and Hull have been quite content to pick up their errors, work it away, and they also win the psychological barrier that that Bradford just simply keep giving the game to them.
Bradford have a problem at the moment because there's a man down on the halfway line. I think it's Jamie Langley. Then again, it could be Paul Hustler. It is Paul Hustler back on his feet and able to rejoin the action as play continues with the Bulls in possession. Here's big Adam Sullivan. Kirk Yeaman stands his ground, makes the tackle. Gavin Jordan now.
Well, Bradford do have the physical size and advantage on Hull, but they certainly won't give up. They have taken the fight to them all the way throughout this game.
It's a good kick from Aaron Smith, forcing Zach Nass to retreat and collect that ball, and he's retreating still further now, just managing to stay in the field of play.
Well, he's not had an awful lot to do so far in this game, has Zach Nass, but you just get the feeling, Bill, if he's given a clear chance, the guy will go full length.
Well, there haven't been that many chances in this game. Certainly been as tight as anticipated. Cowan again offloading that ball. And here is Zach Nass, but that's a thumping tackle on him by Nicky Johnson.
And he felt it too. He got turned over and landed on the bottom of his back.
Craig Cook puts the kick in. Not his best, but he's led the chase. There he is, making the tackle, Craig Cook. Now it's Andy Smith. Smith weaving dangerously across the field, tackled on the whole 40-metre line. Oh, that's a loose pass, and Vinnie Myler's going to have to retreat and pick it up, and Musgrave just managed to cling onto a bootlace and slow him down.
But it almost seemed as if the Bradford players were taking instructions from the Bulls coach who came on the back of the play, and no one seemed to concentrate on the ball whatsoever.
And Hull really are chasing everything, aren't they? Any loose ball, they're onto it in a flash.
Well, they have a feel deep within themselves now that they are in control of this game.
Be a big win for Hull if they could pull it off. Remember, they beat Bradford twice in the academy last year.
Well, two of the biggest men on the field clashed then, the two big second rowers, and it was Hull who came out on top.
Great kick that time. Ben Weston is finding the corner.
The ball, I think, just touches the flag. Yes, it does, so that means it's dead in goal, and a tap restart for Hull on the 20-metre mark.
Unlucky there, Weston. So Hull have possession again. It's not going Bradford's way at the moment.
Well, the outside runner's just overrunning the little half-back there and forcing him to come back on the inside.
Sean Wildbore. Bernard Dwyer will be concerned that his side aren't making the most of the plentiful possession they're enjoying.
Well, they'd be more concerned if that guy Cowan had the ball in his hand then. They used him as a dummy runner, and then Hull force their own error by passing the ball on that forward on the last play. But unusual tactic. He's got great hands as the young kid in the helmet, and they used him as a dummy runner. You know full well if he's got the ball in his hands, he's going to offload it at some point.
Sullivan, ever eager for combat, takes his side just over the halfway line. Here is Vinnie Myler.
Well, he's worked very, very hard indeed, has Vinnie Myler, but he's been matched by the same kind of effort and quality from Matty Maguire in the opposition.
Oh, and the problems growing for the Bulls, because Vinnie Myler's got a whack in the chest there. And then to add to the woes, another pass has gone down.
Well, there just seems to be a little bit of fatigue creeping into the Bulls camp. But, you know, you can put that back down to Bill, those early sets in both the first half and second half of this game. They're both early parts of the match where they simply just gave the ball away very, very cheaply indeed and had to tackle. They've probably done about 30 or 40 tackles throughout the side that they didn't need to do.
Well, if Hull could get another try on the board, then that really would give them a very big advantage for the closing stages of this Academy Championship game. They're looking for it now, but instead it's come up for Ben Noble.
Well, one thing that hasn't worked for Hull today is that little short ball off the standoff Sean Cook. They seem to be completely overplaying that move. They run too short, they don't run the unders lines that well indeed, and every time they've played it, they've either put the ball on the floor or got the runner smashed.
We could be in for a grandstand finish to this game, because Bradford aren't done yet. They're trailed by 8 points. They sense that maybe their opponents are starting to feel a bit weary as well. It's been a big effort from these two sides, exemplified by that tackle on Jamie Langley. Yeah,
it's getting quite obvious now. Wherever Langley goes, the whole defence can read that that's where the play's going to go to, and they just moved out and picked him up.
Well, here is Langley, puts the kick in, looks a bit too strong, and no chance there for Andy Smith to get on the end of that one.
Well, they seem to rely on Langley very much indeed, do the Bulls, and he just looks a little bit tired at the moment.
So Hull in possession, in the lead by 22 points to 14, looking to make it 3 wins out of 3. They've beaten Leeds, they've beaten Hull KR. First derby match in Hull for quite a few years. It was an academy match, and amazingly a crowd of 1,300 turned up to watch the under-18s play.
Well, there should be another 1,300 coming to see the two big guys for Hull FC, Matty Maguire and Tom Cowan. Both have not stopped for the entire game so far, and every time they carry the ball they get a decent go forward, and Cowan comes up with an offload. You know, it's almost similar to the Lee Crooks days at the Boulevard, and I wouldn't put any pressure on the young lad, but he has the ability to offload the ball at every opportunity.
Well, that's a hell of a wrap, that is. It's a good kick, and it's forced Lewis Evans into trouble, and very nearly bigger trouble. Andy Smith pinned as Bradford tried to get out of trouble there. Evans it was who fielded the ball, gave it to Andy Smith, said, here, you have a go.
Well, we spoke in the early parts of the piece, Bill, about the emphasis on the quality of the kick and chase, and Hull have the advantage. They have the emphasis of the game so far. They're taking it to, and you can always tell in a game who's up for it by the way the team kicks and the way the team chases.
And Hull could have another try here. It's Dean O'Loughlin who's got it, and Bradford pay the price for a weak dropout. The ball was fielded by Kirk Yeaman, and then it was taken on by Dean O'Loughlin, and he had the strength to force his way through the Bradford tacklers, and that could be the try that seals this victory for Hull FC.
Well, I think minimum standards, you've got to be looking to get the ball, or at least 40 metres up the park. It was quite a gamble that obviously didn't pay off the Bulls to kick short and reclaim the ball. It didn't work, and this kid's one of the biggest guys on the field, and he takes two, very, very competent players over the line with him. Big left-hand reach out, and he was never going to be stopped from that position. Pay the gamble of taking the chance of kicking the ball short.
Jordan Precious now can contribute 2 precious points. He's done just that, and it's looking good for Hull now, leading by 28 points to 14 in the closing stages of this match. Bradford really have got to come up with something pretty rapidly. That's 6 minutes on the clock.
Well, again, the attempted short kick to try and get the ball back in the hands of the Bulls players. It hasn't come off.
A shake of the head from Bulls coach Bernard Dwyer.
Well, they've had 2 short kicks, Bill, to try and regain possession, and both have failed in the past 2 sets.
Looks as though it's going to be Hull who maintain their 100% record in this academy season, setting the pace early on, and Bradford will go down to their first defeat of the campaign. Long way to go yet, but the signs are that Hull could enjoy a very prosperous season. They could prosper here now, but Jordan Precious couldn't find a teammate after that kick and chase.
Well, what a beautiful little kick from Craig Cook, and again, young Jordan Precious just didn't need to force the ball straight back into the hands of the Bulls. I thought if he'd just pushed himself, he had one or two men on his inside and outside, and the shorter ball would have come back. But just look at the defence from the young lads from the Boulevard. They have been completely up for this game all the way through. They have come from behind on a number of occasions, and to stop guys of this quality in Jamie Langley, they've played very, very well indeed.
There's Paul Smith. Tackled by Matty Maguire. Two number 10s going head to head. Looking for a 40-20 is Ben Weston. And he's just overcooked that one. But it was a gamble I suppose he had to take if they were going to come up with anything in the closing stages here. They needed possession deep in Hull territory.
Certainly, but they were put under pressure from that characteristic aggressive defence from the Hull pack, led again by Matt Maguire. And as this game draws to the final 4 or 5 minutes of the match, you have to look at the likes of Maguire, that I think has been outstanding today. He's been pushed very, very hard indeed by the number 16 Tom Cowan and also Craig Cook. But they're tough guys, and these young lads have got great futures.
Outstanding young players on both sides, and Jamie Langley. So for the Bradford Bulls, here's Craig Cook, brought down by Paul Smith. Off goes Steve Musgrave. Aaron Smith, his opposite number, makes the tackle. So does Adam Sullivan, who's also worked hard for this Bradford side. Craig Cook puts the little kick in, and Lewis Evans has to whack that ball dead.
Well, a great little Cook again, kick again from young Cook.
I told you.
All the seeds are going to get us, Bill. They're going to trip us up, but he just forces the error, and Bradford have to kick the ball dead. So the ball's going to come back into the possession of Hull FC. Let's see what their kick technique's going to be on this restart. They're going to go long and chase, or they're going to go short and try and bring the ball back into their possession.
Again, they've gone for the short one, and again it's backfired, and Langley hangs his head in disgust.
Well, it's a shame for the lad. He's had a very, very good game, young Langley, and he just come up with 1 or 2 errors towards the back end of it. But Bradford do tend to rely on his skills an awful lot.
And just to rub salt into the wounds, Hull will go for the 2 points. And Jordan Precious, I'm sure, will add these. This could be the last kick of the game. It's Jordan Precious who has it. He's plonked that one right through the middle, and Grant Maxwell does indeed sound the final whistle. Hull have won an enthralling Academy Championship match against Bernard Dwyer's Bradford Bulls side. The lead changing hands on numerous occasions, but eventually it was Hull hands who got onto the lead and never let go of it. Hull FC 30, Bradford 14.